Hey guys, it's Dwight. Welcome back to my studio. Hope you're having a great day. So today's the day that I'm going to actually do the pour for this commissioned piece that I mentioned in the last previous two videos. I've got my colors and I'm going to show you that in just a minute. I'll also show you the consistencies. Now, for my white base coat, to create pearls, I'm only using a little bit of Artist Loft Soft Body White, Floetrol, which is most of what's in the recipe there, a drizzle of Liquitex pouring medium, and water. Now, sometimes people ask me, like, what are the specifics in terms of the recipe? You know, I don't measure anymore, but I would say, you know, a good ounce or two of white paint, the rest of it in a 24-ounce cup, about maybe 18 ounces of Floetrol, and then water, just kind of mixing it to make sure it thins out. I always add Liquitex pouring medium because that is a binder, and when I add water to paints, you don't want the pigments to get lost or to fragment. You want to make sure that they're all bound together and you have the integrity of the paint. Okay, so I'm sitting here blabbing. So I will show you the consistencies of the paint that I'm going to do a ribbon pour with, and then also the base coat. But I'm going to mix those up right now, and we're going to get started here in just a moment. Okay guys, here I am. I've mixed up all my paints and I'm ready to pour. Again, this is sort of influenced by the American Southwest, and the commissioned piece that I'm going to be doing today, these colors sort of mimic what's in this person's home already. So it should look pretty good, especially with some pearls going on. So in this big tub here, I have about 30 ounces of my base coat, and that's just Artist Loft Soft Body White, some Liquitex pouring medium, and water to thin. Have a little bit of mounding. It's not water thin, so that should still work fine because there's my canvas. It's a 24 by 30. There's a lot of room to move on the canvas. So this one right here is a combination of the peacock pearl, there we go, and some of this royal navy, and then I put some white in it. This is the royal navy, again, Deco Arts. Now this is a combination, sort of like a, I'll just call it like a dusty rose color. It's a combination of red and this brown, which is rich espresso. And what else did I add? Oh, I added a little bit of champagne to that. So just sort of a nice complement to these three here. And of course it plays off the blues nicely as well. This is Royal Ruby, so it's on the red side. And then Rich Espresso, which is Deco Art metallics, dazzling metallics. So let me see if I can show you the consistency I'm going to be pouring with today. Oops. So there's a very slight mounding, but it goes pretty much in. That's all I'm going for today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to layer them in a cup. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do like a ribbon pour. I'm going to do it sideways and then move it around, cover the canvas with all this paint here, and we'll watch the magic take place. Okay guys, hold on. I'm going to set my camera up and we're gonna get ready to prep the canvas and we'll get going. Okay guys, here we are back at the canvas. This is my 30 by 24 canvas. Didn't put my gloves on, so I had to get that going before I start throwing the paint around. So I'm just showing you this because I hear this comments every once in a while on some of the Facebook pouring pages about how to keep the canvas from showing up on the edges when you're using thinned paints. So in this case, since I'm using a white base coat, I'm using white paint just right out of the bottle. It's Artist Loft Soft Body White, and I'm painting the corners and edges. So that way, when I'm finished pouring, you won't see some of that texture. So I'm just layering my cup nice and slow, sort of alternating some of the colors and putting some of the colors that are close together in terms of their hue and tones, put them together. Like the dark blue and that sort of lighter blue, sort of that copper. There's more of that navy blue. It looks really good against that color. And then against the copper. A lot of copper in this one. I think a little too much of the darker colors, but we'll see how it plays out. I always have an idea in my head, and sometimes the idea works out perfectly, and other times it doesn't, and then other times it doesn't, but it gives me something that I wasn't expected. I think we're all kind of familiar with that part of fluid art. So I'm just checking the consistencies and making sure my paints are mixed really, really well. And we're just going to flood the canvas. Now again, this base coat is just Artist Loft Soft Body White. A little bit of that, a lot of Floetrol. I couldn't give you the proportions, but I would just say at least 5 parts Floetrol. I use a drizzle of Liquitex pouring medium. That's my binder. It helps the pigments stay intact, especially since I am using a lot of water in my pours. And then again, water. So I'm just taking my time, making sure the edges have as close as we can get to it, because I want to make sure that the paints can move across the canvas. So I didn't do a ring pour this time. I decided what I was going to do was sort of like a ribbon pour. Sometimes my mind has an idea that once I get pouring, I do something completely different. So I did that today, just sort of like a zigzag pattern, as you can see, because I want to move it back and forth, sort of in a diagonal motion and not have it be so linear. So at this point, I was looking for that blue. I thought I had a lot of blue in there, but it looks like I had more of the copper and that sort of mauve color, as well as that rich espresso, which I still love. I think that's a great color. So I just wanted to stretch out that blue. I didn't want too much of it to come off. Stretch it out there a little bit. So I'm just bringing it back. So what I tend to do is when I have a lot of paint like this on a canvas doing a pearl pour, when I go over that last corner, I want to bring that paint back towards the middle. Now, I've mentioned before in previous videos that the pearls are going to form where the paint is the thinnest. So in this case, it's going to be around the edges. And sometimes you get it in the middle because you did a great job of tilting off a lot of the thickness of the paint. So I'm going to put this on time lapse and we will see how they filled in. I'll show you in the walkthrough in a minute. You can see the blue pearls that came through, a lot of blue pearls. Okay guys, I'll show you the wet results here in just a moment. Hey guys, it's Dwight here. I am back with the initial wet results. I'm really happy with all of these pearls. They really turned out great. And there's not too much. So what I like about it is, so when you look at composition, you can see there's movement this way. So I have these pearls that also ride along the wave there. And I think it looks really great. So I'm gonna let this dry overnight. There may be a few more pearls that come through and we'll see how it looks in the morning, and then I'll do another walkthrough. And that way I'll show you the dried results. Okay guys, thanks for hanging out, and we will show you the rest of this in just a few seconds. Okay guys, here we are. It is all dry and it's looking pretty good. I was surprised. Wish I had more pearls, or I wish some of them would have filled in even more, but I think overall it's a great pearl pour. This beautiful sort of coppery gold, and then of course the copper and the blue really took over. If you noticed, there are a lot of pearls in there, which I think is kind of cool. So yeah, so we are gonna see how it goes. I was talking with the person who was wanting me to do a commission piece for them, and they want to see one more. They like this one, but they're not quite sure. There's a lot of blue in it, and we need a little bit more like teal turquoise. So anyway, so we're gonna have some more fun. We're gonna do another one pretty soon. And guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again.